What's up, YouTube? It's day 2 of working on my new Silverado. New to me Silverado. It's a 97, like I said in part 1. Yesterday I power washed the outside of it and got all of the dirt cleaned out of the bed because it was caked full of dirt. I was planning on hand washing it because the dirt got everywhere even after pressure washing it. Even cleaning the outside off of it, there was still just dirt everywhere. I just had other things that I thought were a little more important than getting the outside clean. Namely, number 1 was this window. This window did not roll down. It was the scissor portion of the window track was bent, kind of pretzel-y. So I got that fixed yesterday. I took the scissor off of the door and managed to bend it all back into a semi-straight piece of metal and got everything lined up the way that I thought it should be. And then, you know, I had to get some bolts to re-put it back on because it was originally riveted in, and I took care of that and got it, you know, back on. And part 2 today is going to be the driver's side door over there. The driver's side door does not lock, so I'm going to take care of that. The passenger door does everything it's supposed to now. Window rolls up and down, door lock works. The internal door lock, the best part, while it's a little tight to push down and stuff, it does work. So I might need to get in there again and grease some stuff up, but it works. Driver's side door, however, does not work at all. The button doesn't even move, it's stuck. So I need to rip this door pad off of here, door panel, door card, or whatever people want to call it, and check and see what's going on with that. So I'm going to try to get as much of this video as I can on how to get this door pad apart and everything. But it is 85 degrees and there is not a cloud in the sky right now. It is hot out here. I know some other places, you know, in the United States right now, it's like 100 degrees or so. And same thing, but it doesn't make 85 not hot. So yeah, my phone will probably overheat if I have it in direct sunlight. So I'm going to have you guys on my little mini tripod in the floorboard of the car, and I'm going to try my best to angle it up to where you guys can see what's going on, but it might be difficult, so bear with me. Alright, so I know you can barely see it, it's barely in frame, but I gotta get this plastic cover off of here. I just got a flathead screwdriver, and hell, I didn't even need it, popped right off. I'm gonna get a Phillips screwdriver and take out the there's 2 Phillips head screws in the handle of the door over here. I'm going to get them out. And there's 2. All right, come here. All right, so I got the 2 screws holding the door handle portion in off. Now I'm going to use the same flathead screwdriver and I'm going to pop up this, I don't even know what you call it, control housing. I think I remember correctly which direction you pry from. There we go. So this whole housing comes up. So I just pried from this side, and the housing, the whole control housing popped up. I'm gonna go ahead and get all of these clips disconnected. You got 3 of them. One for this car, or this truck, has a speaker right here in the door, like a tweeter right here. So get that off. The window controls, which it appears somebody has broken all of the mechanisms that latch it in place off already. So looks like I just have to pull. And then we got 2 more over here. And this one. Just be patient with them. You know, these clips are always a pain in the butt. Doesn't matter what vehicle you work on. Man, that one did not want to come out. Alright, so I got the door switches off. Just shove those back down out of the way. Now I'm going to go around the outside and pop off all the clips that are holding it on. The bottom, oh, this truck barely has anything holding it together here, man. This door only has one clip that's still working, holding it together right here. That's the only one. The other like 8 are missing or broken. Alright, so now we're into the door panel. So in here, this handle, which this one's actually installed, right? The last one, the other side, it wasn't. You have to remove this bolt right here, and then this handle will slide forward to get it off of that stuff. I think I see what part of the problem is. Somebody at some point took this door apart and put it back in correctly. This door actuator rod should be on the other side of the handle rod. It's really putting it in a bind. So let's get this handle off of here. Alright, so I got the bolt out. It was a 10 millimeter, and it apparently had a nut on the back of it, because I heard the nut fall down into the door after I got the bolt out of it. But all you do to get it off is you push it to the right, or to the left if you're on the other side, and you pull this down, and you should be able to see inside. Okay, we got... Alright, so the lock actuator is in fact, if I can get it to focus, right there, it is in fact installed to it. So these cables, poles, rods, whatever, being bound up the way they are must be the reason why it's not working right. So I'm going to take a few minutes and to get this off of here, all you do is you pop that rod out. Let's see if I can do it on camera. So I pop the rod out with the screwdriver, and then the other one, yeah, I'm not going to be able to do it on camera. The other one is the same thing, only you pull it up. So I'm going to pull that one out of there. Alright, so I got the other rod off too. And like I said, these are just not in the proper orientation back here. There we go, that's better. And the door actuator is supposed to be in, there's a right there, that is a slide that it's supposed to be sliding through, and it wasn't. It looks like these rods are all bent, and they're supposed to be pretty straight, so I'm probably going to have to take this entire panel off of here so I can access those rods and rebend everything back into the proper orientation and align them correctly so that they're in the right position to actually work right. So I'm going to get that done. In order to get the door paddle or pan the inside door piece off here, because I'm not sure what this is even called, the inside skin. I got to take all of these I think these are 7mm bolts out. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of those, and a 10mm over here. Okay, so before I take the inside door skin off, I'm actually going to go through and pull all of these wires and clips off of it, so that I'll be able to remove it much easier once I get it off there, because I'm going to have to get this off, and the door lock actuator for the electronic portion is up here in the back, and there's a plastic cover over it and all kinds of stuff, and so I'll get all of the wires off and out of the clip holders, except for this one, because I have to wait until I can access the back of the actuator to get it off. Alright, so I pushed all these clips in and got all of the wires free from everything except for, like I said, the door lock actuator, which I can get this clip out, get that ready. But I just noticed there's no driver's side door speaker at all. It wasn't there. So I'll have to fix that, I guess, along with everything else that I got to fix. But like I said, the truck was not exactly free, but almost. I did work. Then instead of getting paid for, I accepted the truck for payment for the work. So I'm going to go through and get all these bolts out, and then we can get that outer inner skin off there. One thing I forgot about before starting is that you need to have your window pretty much all the way down. So I went ahead and plugged the switch back up and rolled the window down, because you need the tracks to be down here at the bottom of everything. So I've got all of the screws out of it that are holding it on, so this is now loose. Try not to drop it. I think I got them all out. Oh, I missed one. Okay, now I got them all out. So this can now come off. And the way this works is, you see the tracks down there? You have to slide. Well, first you have to get this off here. This is your remote lock actuator, and oh, that might have something to do with why it wasn't working either. This plug wasn't even plugged in. Is it broken, or was it just not plugged in? It just wasn't plugged in. So the electric lock wasn't working because the electronic locking portion was not plugged into it. So, you know, there's problem number one. I'm going to go ahead and feed these cables all out of here. You have to unplug the motor for the window. It's down here at the bottom. There's just a button on top here you push, and you can unplug it. I'm going to feed these out. Alright, so if you can hear the fan, I apologize. It's freaking hot out here. I'm trying to aim it away from you. But so I've got everything disconnected. All the cables are over here. The door mechanism rods are all disconnected from everything. So to get this outer inner skin off, you have to basically move it left or right through the door. Through the there's a slide down at the bottom. You have to remove it. Oh, that does not want to move. That needs some grease apparently. So it's a good thing I'm doing this anyway. Alright, so I got one off. Let's get the other off. Alright, so I got it out of there. I need to clean that track and grease it. Yeah, it's definitely could use a little love. And get the rust pieces out of it and put some grease in it. But these are the rods that I was talking about, and they are not supposed to be bent like that at all. they definitely have seen better days. So I'm gonna rebend those and get ready to put everything back together after I clean and grease that track. There's also another track on the back side of this right here. That one looks to be in much better condition than the other one is. So I'll clean those wheels off, clean the track, put some grease in it, and hopefully that helps to keep the track from rotting and keep the window moving up and down smoothly. Alright, so I got the rods mostly rebent. It looks like you do want to have a slight bend on this end because the bottom one has gravity helping to make sure that it stays in, but this one is in sideways, so the little bend that's right there helps to push it into the locking mechanism, because that's actually the part, I believe that's the lock, yeah, that's the locking mechanism, because it runs into the lock actuator. So it's all rebent, and now you just kind of go through the reverse process of putting it back together. I still have to clean that track out first. After I clean that track, I'll get everything reassembled. Alright, so I went ahead and took a wire brush, and I scraped out and cleaned out the track down there all the way along. And I got my grease, and I put grease all over the track, top, bottom, middle, inside. I just greased it all up because I want to make sure that it doesn't, well, fail, and I have to replace the track at some point. So that being said, I also greased up the inside of that track on the back of the door too. So I'm going to start reassembling everything. I'm pretty sure that when this goes back together, that this is the orientation that it's supposed to go in, with the lock actuator lever on top and the door handle rod on the bottom. But let's just check the back of this here. Oh wait, no, it's the handle. I need the handle. Okay, so this is the handle, and we have this one here, which there should be a white bushing on that. Did it fall out? There it is. Okay, see that white bushing in there? That needs to go in this hole right here. And then the lock actuator goes down on top of that. So that one's on top. So this is the orientation it needs to be in. The lock actuator on bottom, crisscrossing over the top, or crisscrossing under the door handle. Yeah, because the door handle is on top over here. That's the door handle, that's the lock actuator. So it needs to be in this orientation when you put it back in the vehicle. I'm putting the door back together. Right now I'm sliding the tracks back together and then feeding the cables through the door, getting all of the clips put back on the door. Then I'm going to reroute all the cabling and get it all correct. Put the screws back in. This 10mm helps to support the window. Now I'm screwing all the screws back in and rolling the window up and down to make sure everything is working correctly. Alright, so I basically have it all back together. I couldn't find the nut that was on the back of the bolt that was in there, so I put a new one on there. It's just plastic, so I didn't tighten it down real tight. There are several, at least one, two, there's two bolts missing in this inner door skin. Still no speaker, so can't do anything about that. I did plug the lock and window mechanism back in and checked that both of them work, and they do. The window goes up and down. It controls the window on the other side just fine, and when you lock the door with the electronic lock mechanism, it does work. And this didn't work yesterday, but the key actually locks the door now, and it didn't before. The key would turn in the mechanism out here, and on this model, turning it, I think it was right, locked it, and it would turn, but then it would stop and it would get stuck and wouldn't move any further, and it wouldn't lock the door. I tried like 6 times last night to lock the door with the key, but that is now fixed, and the track for the window is greased, so hopefully that helps to keep that from, you know, something bad happening to that. So I'm gonna finish putting the door pad back on, and I do still need to get some of those clips though, because yeah, that one is the only one that is currently a viable clip. There's one down there that's only half broke off, so maybe that one's doing something. This one's more than half broke off, you know, so I definitely need to find somewhere to buy the clips for this. So I'll put the door pad back on, put the window switch back in, screw down the handle to that plate right there, and call it done. It'll be finished. So it'll be one window, passenger side window fixed, and now the door lock actuator and handles on this side fixed. So we're working our way through the list. Okay guys, that's it. It's all back together. The best I can do right now with the lack of extra components that I have. So I'm sorry, it's not all back together. I forgot about this little thing. All right, now it's all back together. So things that need to be fixed. This is broken. The clip on the inside here that holds this in place up here is broke off. Not a big deal right now. It's working okay. Outside shroud missing. The passenger side mirror, or the driver's side mirror here, the window switch works going up and down, but not left and right. It only works up and down. So that mirror, first of all, I already knew it was broken because it's broken. But that window, or that mirror, needs replaced. I need more of the door clips to hold the door on better. Speaker is missing, and the light for inside there is missing. On a better note though, the window, again, the auto down works, and the window works just fine. And the lock and unlock, here we go. Locked, unlocked. And then on the other side, there. Hopefully it helps somebody out if you're having trouble with your door locks or your handle working. I took a door apart, found a couple other issues like tracks that were not greased at all, fixed those, and straightened out the rods in the door and realigned them because they were not properly aligned. The door actuator lock one goes below the handle lock one, or the handle rod. That one goes on top, and then they go back together. Straightened out the rods, made sure there was still some positive pressure on the locking mechanism one, because gravity is not going to help that one. And that's it. She's finished. So part 2 of my saga with the Silverado is done. Hopefully this video helps somebody out on figuring out what's wrong with their truck. Power steering pump in this truck does not work at all. It just doesn't work. It sucks. About crashed into the back of my car trying to pull this truck into my driveway because the power steering pump doesn't work, and I apparently didn't give it enough gas while making the turn to be able to pull the steering wheel in the way I needed to. So I got a new power steering pump. I got it at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Master Pro Power Steering, remanufactured power steering pump. So this, the power steering system should be flushed before installing replacement unit. Well, won't be doing that. I don't know how to flush a power steering pump unit or system or whatever. This is a power steering pump. Does not come with the pulley. Came with the reservoir and the power steering pump. It's open here. I have never had the luxury of installing a power steering pump. Alright, so this would be my new remanufactured one. It feels like they used rattle can spray paint to paint it. So that's perfect. Did not come with a cap, but my cap will fit on it. Looks like they fixed it all up and then just stuck some caps in it, some plugs in it. Get off there! Oh, it looks nice and clean down there, which is awesome and perfect. So I'm gonna leave this cap in there, and then on the back side here, there we go. So like I said, they capped it and then they spray painted the whole thing and then stuck a sticker on it. But it's part number 4099223P. That is for the 97 Chevy Silverado. Like I said, it does not come with a pulley on it. So I have to take the pulley off of my current pump. There's a $27 core return on it, so I will be taking the old one in and returning it. Biggest problem I'm going to have right now is, like I said, the pulley is still, I have to get the pulley off down there, and there's not a lot of room in there. So first thing I'm going to do is take this shroud off here, because if I get the shroud out of the way, it'll make life so much easier. Looks like you just pull these clips up here, get this wire out of here, and just set it up there on top of the engine, get it out of the way. And then we got 1, 2, 3, looks like 4. There's a bolt down there, right there. 5, 6, 7. Looks like 7. I'm gonna guess 10 mil bolt. Get my handy dandy kit out here. Guys, if you can get a hold of one of these kits, it's the Channel Lock 200-piece mechanics tool set. I got it at Sam's Club like 2 years ago, and it was like $100. And I have done everything with this kit, and the only thing I've managed to lose is the 8mm nut driver socket that goes in the screwdriver. I've managed to keep everything else together. So let's see, a 9 and a 10. Let's try the 10 first. Oh, it is the 10. All right. But I'm going to go through and get all these bolts out of here and get the shroud off. And that way I'll have a lot more access to everything in there. I'm afraid to drive this truck without the power steering. It's pretty heavy and does not maneuver very well. And I don't want to break the steering shaft trying to pull on it so hard just to make a regular turn. So yeah, I'm going to get to getting this stuff apart. I went to Harbor Freight and I got a pulley remover for well, like it says, removes pressed on alternator and power steering pulleys, and it looks like the exact system that I need, the one that has this collar that can go around the power steering pulley to be able to press it off. Okay, so those 7 bolts did get the top of the shroud off. Looks like if I wanted to get the whole thing off, there's a couple more down there at the bottom, at least 2 more. This radiator looks brand new. I am so happy to see that. It looks brand new on both sides. There's hardly a bent fin on this radiator, so that makes me very happy. Now that the shroud is off, you can see what we're working with. We got the pulley there. I need to get over here to the tensioner. This is a 3/8 inch drive. Put my 3/8 ratchet in there and get the serpentine belt off of here. So just so you're aware, on this vehicle, and this is also for my benefit too, we go from tensioner over the top of the alternator, under the idler pulley there, over the top of the AC compressor, down around and over the bottom of the power steering pump, and then back up over the top of the fan, and I believe the water pump is back there too. I'm not super familiar with this engine yet. I'm going to get there, I'm sure, but it goes up over the top of the fan and the water belt or water pump, and then wraps it back down around and goes back the other way around the crankshaft pulley and back up to the tensioner. So that's for your knowledge as well as mine. That way I can reference this video if I can't figure out how to put this stupid belt back on. Alright, I got the belt off. That was like super easy. Just put the ratchet in there, press down on it, relieve the tension, and pop the belt off. Now I figured is a really good time to check the said belt and make sure that it is good. So I don't see any cracking on this side, and it's not ripped up on the other. I think this belt is probably good to go for now. There doesn't appear to be any kind of extra external damage on it. So serpentine belt should be good to put back on. Now that that's free, let's get this pulley remover out of the box. Seems very lightweight. Okay, so we got instructions. So it looks like for removal, you put your jack screw in the body puller and the button down on the end of this. So back down on that. And then you put the 2 pieces here. What are these things? These little collars here. You put them around the puller body, slip the sleeve over the top of it, hold the, what is that, the puller body, or puller body, hold the puller body screw head with a socket or a wrench or crescent wrench or whatever, and use a socket wrench and pop that bad boy off there. Seems easy enough. Well, that's it, guys. 1 power steering pump pulley removed. Now, and this kit from Harbor Freight worked just fine. It was $32. I could have rented something very similar to this from probably any of the auto parts stores and then returned it and got my money back. But if I have this problem again, I'm just going to have to do it again. I'm going to have to rent it again. So I opted to buy it so I can have it for the future in case I ever need to do this again. Or any other pulleys, like alternator pulleys. If I have to replace one of those, I'll just have it Now the reason that the pulley has to come off is A, it has to go back on the new pump, and B, all three of those bolts right there, and I think this one right here, it's a nut in there, and I think there's a nut back down there. They all have to come off in order to get that out of there. But before I even do that, I'm going to I've got a little vacuum pump thing. I'm going to try to suck as much of the power steering fluid out of the reservoir as possible, so that I make as little of a mess as possible, and then I'll work on those bolts. So the astute among you might notice that it's currently dark out. I am burning the midnight oil. I want to get this power steering pump finished up. The sooner I get it done, the sooner I can move on to other things. The power steering pump really needed to happen, and I just want to have it done. Tomorrow is Monday. I still have to wait until Tuesday to go and get the truck registered, so I still have all day tomorrow to do other things that might need to get done on it. It is currently 11:58 p.m. so it's basically midnight, and it is dark and late out here, and some people have to work tomorrow. I'm not one of them, but I am not going to be doing anything loud out here. All the stuff that I have to do for getting this power steering pump off of here to put the new one on is all stuff that should be pretty quiet, just wrenches and sockets and stuff. So this is the point that I'm at right now. I think I left off with just having the having pulled the pulley off of it. Well, I got the pulley off of it, and then I also got the I think it's the return line. I think no, it's the high pressure line. This line right here, I got that one disconnected from the bottom. I even left the wrench down there. I think it was a 5/8 or something like that. Yeah, 5/8. I had to hurry up and pack things up rather quickly earlier, because the place that me and the wife got dinner at was closing in like 17 minutes, and I had to get there before they closed to pick our food up. So I just threw everything in the garage, locked the truck up, and hopped in the car to leave. Apparently I forgot my wrench underneath the truck. Glad nobody noticed it and took it. But yeah, let's try to get these bolts out of the power steering pump. Well guys, it's 2 o'clock in the morning, and this power steering pump is kicking my ass. I think I'm about to call it a night and go inside. Wait, just kidding, I got it out. There's the old one. It did take me a little bit because I had the wrong size sockets. Thought I was using the right size sockets. Found out I wasn't using the right size sockets. Turns out that these little bolts right here, or nuts, sorry, these little nuts right here that hold this bracket on right here and down here are the only two you need to get off to get it off. I do believe this piece right here, this is a variable flow control, electronically controlled flow control. So I'm going to have to try to get that off of the old one to put it on the new one. Hose clamp was a 1/4 inch hose clamp. The screw that was on it was a 1/4 inch. This bolt on the back, I believe, is 17. Yep, 17 millimeter for the back. I didn't realize I didn't need to take these off until after I got the pump out of the truck, because I have to remove that one again. I just put it on there with my fingers. I gotta get that one back off, or finish getting it back off, and then remove this one. And that one's not a 17. What the hell? Why are there so many different size bolts? Not a 15. this one? Freaking, that's a 16 mil. It's a little bit loose, and a 15 doesn't fit, so it's got to be standard. I know I have a 9/16 around here somewhere. Oh, that was the 9/16. This is the 15 mil, and that appears to be a perfect fit. So that one's a 17. This one's a 15. Both of these mounting nuts right here are 9/16. Why can we not just pick one frickin' size and stick to it? Either way, that's where I'm at. I got it off. Transfer the bracket and this variable flow control over to the new one. It looks like it has a snap ring holding it in, so that'll be fun to get off there. I got some snap ring pliers around here somewhere. I have to find them. I haven't used those in a hot minute. Just for a comparison between the old one and the new one, so you can see that they're essentially the same thing. Let's see here. Get on there. Okay, so there's the bracket just kind of sat on there for the new one. Like I said, I'm gonna have to try to get this thing off. It looks like it's just held on with a snap ring plier, or snap ring. So let's get that removed. Alright guys, it is 3:57 a.m. So I have been at it for 3.5 hours. I took like a half-hour break to get something to drink and relax for a second and gather myself because I had some issues with a few things. As you see, my hat's freaking dirty, so I'm going to have to clean my hat. The new power steering pump is in. So I've got I think that's the return line right there, because it's a low pressure line, and then the feed line right here connected up. I replaced the O-ring on the end of the feed line because, let's see if it's still up here, if it fell down. Oh, here it is. This is the O-ring that was on the feed line. It's a tad out of round and smashed. So there was a little bit of a leak coming from down there. I don't know exactly if that was what the cause was, but it is now, or has been replaced. So got a new O-ring on the feed line, got those 3 bolts in the front snugged up, the one on the back side snugged up, the 2 on the bracket on the back of the pump are all snugged up, and then there's one down there way down under the bottom that you can't see right now, and that one is all snugged up too. So I need to work on getting the pulley put back on. Now, one thing that I did see, because I did a little research for doing all of this, is that you need to try to make sure that you get it put back on enough, and based on where the old one was at, the pulley, the head of the front of the pulley here was basically flush with the front of the shaft. So I'm going to try to do that again. I'm going to put it on there until it is flush with the shaft and hope that that makes it to where the belt lines up, because I guess if it's not lined up correctly, it can start shredding your serpentine belt. So I'm going to get the pulley remover and installer kit all set up and get the pulley started going on, and yeah, that'll be it. Then I can get the belt back on, put some power steering fluid in the reservoir, and put the shroud back on. So I'm getting really close to being done. I wanted to get this finished because there are more things that I want to tackle before I get the truck registered on Tuesday. So yeah, real excited to be almost done with this part of it. This was one of the major things that was wrong with the truck, is, you know, not being able to steer very well. Like I said, it was a safety hazard for me, at least. I drove it up into my driveway and about rear-ended my own car. So yeah, hopefully this fixes it. I did see that this variable flow control valve, this electronic one that's on here, some people are having issues with them not working correctly. I'm really hoping that's not mine. If it is, then I'm going to buy a bypass and just bypass the whole thing. So yeah, apparently that's what a lot of people do. I just don't have a bypass right now, or else I would have just done it to begin with. I would have just bypassed it and said, screw it, I'm not going to worry about it. People are having problems with it. Don't know if mine is having a problem or not, but if the power steering still doesn't work after I put the new power steering pump in, then I'm gonna guess that it's that variable flow control malfunctioning and making it to where I have no power steering. So that's where I am with that. I'm gonna get back at getting this pulley on here so I can wrap this up. Hopefully it goes on fairly easy with these tools, and I don't have too many issues, and maybe by 5 a.m. I'll be done with all of this. So I'm all set up to get this pulley on here. So we have the jack screw, and then the let's see, what is this thing called? The body puller, or puller body, and then a thrust bearing and a thrust washer, the pulley, and then inside, where you can't see it right now, is one of these insertion pins, the screw installer. And based on this here, says that it's a Ford 4.6, the GM 3.1, the quad 4, and then number 10 for all others. So this is the number 10, so that is the one that I have installed in there, and seems to be working just fine so far. I'm going to get it to the point where it's basically flush with the front of the I don't know, the shaft that the pulley goes on. Wow, it has been a long and filthy night. It's 5:40 in the morning. Last video I started at 4 o'clock, and it was just to put the pulley back on, and I have been struggling with it ever since. Because for some reason, whenever the pulley would rotate with the ratchet, which is what it said to use, or what it showed in the container, when the pulley would rotate and it would click through spots on the ratchet, when I would then use the crescent wrench here to tighten up the part that's supposed to push that in, it would loosen up the center piece and make it to where it would come unthreaded. I probably rethreaded it and retightened it like 50 times, probably, because it just kept coming unthreaded. It would push the pulley on just a little bit, and then it would come unthreaded. Push it on a little bit, come unthreaded. And it just kept doing it like 50 times. And then finally, I tried using my brain, and I was like, why is this not working? And so I put the belt back on. The pulley had already gotten started, and it was on like, I don't know, maybe a quarter of the way. So I knew it wasn't going to pop off, and the reinstallation tool was still pressing it into the shaft, so I knew it wasn't going to come off either. So after I put the belt on, it stopped the pulley from moving every time I would tighten up the pusher part, and because of that, I don't know, it just made a difference. It made a huge difference, as a matter of fact, and I was able to get more than half of the pulley onto the shaft in like 10 minutes or something like that. It's crazy the difference that it made, that pulley not being able to spin whenever it was being put on there with that tool. But once I figured that out, yeah, it went together pretty quick. I already topped off the reservoir here. It's a tad over full, but that's okay because the system, both of these lines are empty, or mostly empty at least. So it's going to need to put stuff in there, and so far I don't see any leaks on the ground. Guess we'll find out once we get everything, once we start it up and see how it's doing, if there's any leaks or not. But I gotta get this fan shroud put back on here, and that's it. I get the fan shroud, I think that's it, right? Yeah. Yep, get the fan shroud put back on and start her up. See if I have power steering or not. Alright guys, so I started it up. I forgot to record it whenever I first started it up to check it, but look, I've got power steering. It's working. The wheels are doing wheelie things. Wow, it's been a long night. Obviously, that was a success. Come out here and check, and I do not see anything leaking from the power steering pump at all. I need to check the level. I'll check that after I get off this video with you guys. I need to check the level and make sure that it didn't drop too much after it filled up the return and the supply lines, and make sure that that's good. And then last thing is I noticed it after I got done earlier. I forgot to put the belly pan on, the skid plate. I took it off so I'd have better access to all the stuff up underneath there, and so I got to put that skid plate back on. But guys, I think that's it. I'm gonna call it on this video, man. It's been a long night. I think it took me about 8 hours to do that. If I had to do it again, if something goes wrong with this pump and I have to do it again, then like maybe that variable flow control valve thing fails or something and I have to bypass it or whatnot, I think it'd probably be about 6 hours instead of probably 8. I think I probably spent a total of about 8 doing this. I think I could probably do it in 6 hours, knowing what I know now. This is the first time I've ever replaced a power steering pump in anything. So, learning curve, I guess. Should be easier for the next time. Well, like I said, the power steering pump is working. Wheels are turning with ease. Something was trying to make the engine die. I don't know whether it was the AC compressor or if it was the power steering pump. So I guess there's more to troubleshoot. I guess it's a never-ending list whenever you get an old truck that needs, that's not been taken care of the greatest on every little thing. Don't get me wrong, I'm grateful for the truck. I can't wait to get it registered and actually be able to drive it. I did drive it around the block for a minute just to see how it does, and it drove pretty good around the block. I didn't want to drive very far because I had no plates on it. So, yeah, there's that. But it drives well. It actually, the ride is actually pretty good for a freaking 27-year-old truck, so I'm not going to complain too much, and I'm going to wrap up this video because I'm tired. I'm going to bed. I'll catch you guys on the next video. Like, share, subscribe. See you next time.